Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another Anatomy and Physiology live stream. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you all again. We're going to do some A&P1. We're focused on tissues through the nervous system. So we have tissues, integumentary system, skeletal system, a muscular system, some joint questions. We're pretty ready to go, so... How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. But welcome in. I hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to do some Anatomy and Physiology 1 questions for the HESI and TEAS today. How are you guys doing? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome. I would appreciate it if you guys gave the live a like. It'll just get it out to more people so we can help as many people as possible on their upcoming Anatomy and Physiology exams or on their upcoming HESI and TEAS. But hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome. Get started here in just a moment. I would appreciate it if you guys gave the live like. It'll just get it out to more people. But if you are new here, my name is Ollie. I typically do a lot of anatomy and physiology stuff on here. I go live pretty frequently. This week it'll be today, and it'll be on Wednesday. And then starting next week, we'll be going live every day, covering anatomy and physiology. Alrighty, we'll get started here now, everybody. Welcome in. We are doing some Anatomy and Physiology 1 preparation for the HESI or TEAS. We'll start off with number 1, which asks, which of the following is a characteristic of epithelial tissue? And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Ollie. I have a master's degree in molecular medicine, and I do go live pretty much every day. So it's next week on May 26th, we will be going live every day, but this week we'll be live Wednesday going over A&P2 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be on A&P2. But number 1, which of the following is a characteristic of epithelial tissue? I've also been tutoring anatomy and physiology now for about 5 years, but I go live pretty frequently. Starting next week, it'll be on May 26th. We'll be going live every day, pretty much covering anything that you guys request and whatnot. I post every single live replay to YouTube as well. It's linked in my bio, and then all my notes when I was in the class are also in my bio. Welcome. So the answer is going to be C. So which of the following is a characteristic of epithelial tissues? This lines body surfaces and cavities. So defining feature of epithelial tissue, again, is that it lines body surfaces. This could be your skin, your organ linings, your body cavities. Highly vascular. Epithelial is avascular, meaning there's no direct blood supply. Containing contractile fibers, that's going to be muscular tissue. And then storing calcium ions, that is the function of bone or connective tissue. Alrighty, moving on to number 2. What type of connective tissue connects muscles to bones? Which type of connective tissue connects muscles to bones? I do have about 50 questions here today as well, and we will be on A&P1, and then Wednesday we'll be doing A&P2. Number 2, what type of connective tissue connects muscle to bone? The answer is C. It is a tendon. So a tendon connects muscle to bone. Cartilage connects bones or cushion joints. Ligament is what is bone to bone. Adipose is what stores fat. Number 3, which tissue type is responsible for transmitting electrical signals? Hi, Rosalind. How are you doing? Good to see you again. I know you requested some skeletal system joints and whatnot for live. We'll be doing that next week. So probably Wednesday will probably be skeletal system joints and stuff. You passed your TEAS. Congratulations, Rosalind. Awesome. If everyone could give a congratulations, Rosalind, in the chat, that would be incredible. That's fantastic. I'm so proud and happy for you. I hope you feel the same way as well. Number 3, which type of tissue is responsible for transmitting electrical signals? The answer is nervous tissue. Nervous tissue. So in the nervous system, we have our neurons that conduct our electrical impulses. Epithelial, we talked about earlier, that's going to line surfaces. Connective supports and binds structures. Muscle responds to signals, yes, but it does not transmit them. It does not transmit them. Number 4, which connective tissue type stores fat? Looking forward to the skeletal system. Perfect. Zoom out. Okay, gotcha. Zoom out. Does that work? Yes, I love these. Awesome, I'm so glad. Glad you're here. Glad you love them. Makes my day. The answer is going to be C. So adipose tissue is what is going to store our fat. These are specialized cells for fat storage. Dense regular, that's more for like tendons and ligaments. Areolar is going to bind and cushion. Reticular, this is more for soft tissue, for like, your for your organs, like your spleen is an example. Just one example. There's other examples as well. Thanks for all the follows and the likes on the live, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Number 5. Simple squamous epithelium is best suited for... It's best suited for what? It's best suited for what? Take a little drink of my Cherry Coke Zero. Gotta keep the voice box lubricated. I've been talking so much today, so my voice is a little scratchy at the moment. But simple squamous epithelium is best suited for diffusion and filtration. So if we think about simple is meaning it has one layer. So one layer. Squamous means flat. So one layer, we're talking more flat. If we have our nucleus. So this being thin and flat is what's going to allow for easy exchange, so diffusion. A great example of that is the alveoli, where gas exchange occurs. You want your body to be able to easily diffuse and exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide, so oxygen in, CO2 out, or your capillaries, which is where the gas exchange occurs as well, between your tissues. Perfect. Number 6. So let's go through these answers quick. So absorption would be columnar epithelium. Protection from friction, that would be stratified. Squamous. Supporting and binding, that would be connective. Alrighty, number 6, what type of muscle tissue is striated and under voluntary control? Number 6, which type of muscle tissue is striated and under voluntary control? Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the likes on live. I appreciate it. You guys are killing it. The answer is B. It is skeletal. So connective is not a muscle tissue. Smooth and cardiac are, but these are both involuntary. Striated means banded. So it allows for some rhythmic contraction. Banded is also cardiac tissue, but not smooth. So smooth is not voluntary and not striated or banded. Skeletal is striated and voluntary. Cardiac is involuntary and banded or striated. Number 7. Which type of epithelial tissue is found in areas of high abrasion? An example of this would be your skin. Abrasion means some sort of damage or friction occurring at a certain point. We're on number 7 now if you're just joining us, but welcome in. Hello, hello. Welcome back if you've been here before. And when you're here, welcome. My name is Ollie. Starting next week, we'll actually be going live every day just in time for the summer semester, going over A&P topics that you guys request. Number 7 is C. Stratified squamous. Stratified squamous. So stratified meaning it has more layers. Squamous means flat. So multiple layers is going to protect against friction, like your skin, your esophagus. If you think about it, if you have any sort of like friction that occurs, that's why that allows it to happen. Thank you for the rose. I appreciate it. Thank you for the finger heart, Reese. Thank you so much. Mar, thank you for the rose. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. That's awesome. That means so much. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you guys so much for the roses and finger hearts. You guys are too kind. But for A, simple columnar, that's more for absorption, as you would see in like your intestines when you're absorbing nutrients. Transitional would be your bladder, in which your bladder stretches, for urine. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to hold your urine in as much. Pseudostratified would be like your respiratory tract. It's more for secretion. It's seen like kind of like cilia. 8. What cell type is responsible for producing fibers in connective tissue? Or number 8. Which cell type is responsible for producing fibers in connective tissue? Also, just want to remind everybody that this will be on YouTube afterwards as well. The link to that is in my bio, and then my notes are also linked in my bio. Kelly says, this is great use of technology for education. Love seeing these lives. RTs definitely love this stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. Can I explain 7 options again? Yes. So stratified squamous is for the skin because that allows it having multiple layers is what's going to be what protects from friction or abrasion. Simple columnar is going to be for absorption, which is what you see in the intestines. Transitional allows for stretching. So the big example is the bladder there. And then pseudostratified columnar. This is in the... this is more for secretion. Does that make sense, Mar? And then number 8, which cell type is responsible for producing fibers in connective tissue? The answer is B. It is fibroblast. So fibroblasts secretes mainly here collagen and elastin fibers. So think of blast, you're producing something. Here we are producing the fibers in connective tissue, which is going to be collagen and elastin fibers. Mast cells release histamine. Macrophages engulf pathogens like bacteria. Adipocytes are, if we talked about like adipose tissue storing fat, adipocyte is an adipose cell. So a fat cell. So this stores fat. And on number 9, cartilage heals slowly after an injury because why? What is the main reason that cartilage would heal slowly after an injury? This is for the HESI and TEAS exam. But in general, it's just good anatomy and physiology review for anybody. Could be in like radiology program, medical assistant program, some undergrad, pretty much anything. It would definitely be very beneficial toward. Number 9, cartilage heals slowly after an injury because it lacks blood vessels, so it's avascular. So no blood supply, meaning it's going to have slow healing. Having many blood vessels, that is false. Again, it is not. It is avascular. B, it is made of dead cells. That is not true because there are chondrocytes, and these are alive, meaning functioning. C, lacking a nerve supply. This is true. It does lack a nerve supply, but it was not the reason for slow healing. It's not the reason for slow healing. But not main reason. Thanks for all the follows, everybody. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. And we're going to move on to number 10 now. Which tissue type lines the digestive tract and absorbs nutrients? Which tissue type lines the digestive tract and absorbs nutrients? Fantastic. It is C. It is simple columnar. So they are taller-like cells, and the microvilli, so they're kind of column-like, and they have these projections. The function of these is going to increase the surface area, which is in turn going to increase absorption. Stratified cuboidal, that's pretty rare. It's mostly found in like ducks. Transitional, again, is in the bladder, allowing for stretching. Pseudostratified, it's more in like your respiratory tract for secretion. Number 11, the outermost layer of the skin is... The outermost layer of the skin is... Fantastic. It is C. It is epidermis. So we have our epidermis, our dermis, and subcutaneous and hypodermis are the same thing. But a good way to remember this is hypo means low or below. And epi means above. So this would be above the dermis, and then below the dermis. Knowing medical terminology is definitely a good way to remember some things. B and D are the same thing. Yes, B and D are the same thing. Subcutaneous is just another way of saying the hypodermis. Two names a little silly, but is what it would be called. Number 12, which protein makes the skin waterproof? Number 12 is C. It is keratin. So keratin is pretty tough. This is what's going to waterproof the skin. Collagen is what's going to give strength to the skin. Elastin is going to give its elasticity. Melanin is going to be our skin color and our protection. from UV rays. Number 13, sweat glands that are active during emotional stress are... And when I say emotional, let's say... yes, let's go with emotional stress. I'll leave it at emotional. What sweat glands would be active during emotional stress? So this would be opposite of, this would be out of the purpose of thermoregulation. So it would not be due to thermoregulation. The answer would be C. It would be apocrine. So apocrine, these are found in our armpits and our genital areas. So they're active during stress. If you think about it, when you have to give a presentation or you're taking a test, you are not, and let's just say the room temperature is perfectly normal. You are, emotional stress is going to elicit a response from those glands to secrete sweat. Eccrine is going to be involved in thermoregulation. Sebaceous are oil glands, and then this is for earwax, ceruminous. Number 14, what pigment protects the skin from UV radiation? Yeah, active during stress. That's why we're referring to it as emotional stress, because if it were, let's just say, physical stress, it would technically be both. But this is, the eccrine glands are mostly for thermoregulation purposes. Number 14, what pigment protects the skin from UV radiation? The answer is C. It is melanin. It is melanin. Melanin absorbs UV rays. Hemoglobin is our oxygen carrier. We're going to carry oxygen. Carotene is our... so it's our yellow-orange pigment. It can provide a little bit of color to the skin, but it's not what's UV protective. And then keratin is our structural protein that we talked about, was for waterproofing. Number 15, the dermis is composed mainly of what? The dermis is composed mainly of what? Thank you for all the follows, everybody, and for sharing and liking the live. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, my name is Ollie. I have a master's degree in molecular medicine. And starting next week on May 26th, we'll be going live every day again. The next time we'll be live will be on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be doing AMP2. We're doing AMP2. But the number 15, the dermis is primarily composed of A. It is dense, irregular connective tissue. This allows for it to have strength and flexibility and elasticity. Stratified squamous epithelium, that is the dermis. That is what is found in our skin. Adipose tissue is in the hypodermis. That's our subcutaneous layer. Loose connective tissue would be in the papillary layer, yes. So this is true that it is part of it, but again, we're talking about composed mainly of, but this is for the papillary layer of the dermis. We have our papillary, plus we have our dermis. Our dermis has a papillary layer and a reticular layer. All right. Moving on to number 16, which layer of the skin contains blood vessels and sensory receptors? Yes, the TEAS is primarily multiple choice. Not entirely, though. I believe there are some select multiple, fill in the blank. I believe it's primarily multiple choice, though. Fantastic. It is C, the dermis. Remember that the epidermis is avascular, meaning it has no blood vessels. Stratum corneum is part of the epidermis, and the stratum basal is also part of the epidermis. The dermis has our blood vessels, our nerves, and our glands. Ready? Number 17. Which structure produces oil for the skin and hair? Passed in my first try. Awesome. Congrats, Jasmine. That's incredible. Was that recently or how long ago was that? That's awesome, though. Congratulations. The answer to number 17 is B. It is sebaceous glands, thinking SEB, sebum, oil, SEB, that's how I remember those. Pseudoryphus, that's sweat. Mercor is a sensory cell, and erector pili is that smooth muscle that causes our goosebumps. Number 18, what type of burn damages the epidermis and the dermis? Three months ago? Nice, awesome, congratulations. I hope your nursing program is going well. That goes for everybody as well. I hope your pre-nursing and nursing and post-nursing, if you are all a part of that, or just any area of healthcare is going well. Definitely not for the weak, so I'm very proud of anybody who's going through it for sure. But number 18, the answer is B. It is a second degree. So this blistering, this affects both the epidermis and the dermis. First degree is epidermis only. This would be both. Third degree is where it's full all the way through. So from the epi to the hypodermis. Fourth degree is into our muscle or bone. Hopefully radiology here. You definitely will. Yes, it definitely will be. I need to pass the TEAS exam. Awesome. Yep, we will definitely help you. We'll definitely get you to pass that. We'll definitely be helping you work for that. Number 19, which bone is part of the axial skeleton? I'm doing NACC next month. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Good luck on your NACC. Awesome. Grad student here, need to pass the HESI. You got this, Nur. You got this. You will pass the HESI. I'm manifesting it for you. You just got to keep studying, keep being consistent. You got it. But starting next week on May 26th, we'll be going live every day. Monday and Tuesday are all typically what I do is like A&P1 and A&P2. And then the rest of the Wednesday through Sunday is kind of by like topic requests. Like sometimes we go through skeletal system, muscular system, cardiovascular system. But for now, Rosalind, who's actually in this live stream, has been requesting skeletal system and joints. So Wednesday we'll be on that, and then it'll be uploaded to YouTube as well. Afterwards, every live stream I do will be uploaded to YouTube. 19 is C. It is the skull. So the exoskeleton is our skull, our vertebrae, our ribs. The femur, scapula, and pelvis are all appendicular. Number 20, the shaft of a long bone is called what? The shaft of a long bone is called what? I'm doing endocrine and blood right now. Oh, yes, sorry. These should be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, typically. Tuesday definitely will be... Wednesday definitely 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll release the schedule on Sunday for the times of these live streams, but typically they're all around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes that changes depending on my work stuff, but normally that's normally what it is. But number 20, the answer is diaphysis. So that is the central shaft of the long bone, and then the epiphysis, that's the end of the long bone. Metaphysis is the growth region between the shaft and the bone end, and the endosteum is the membrane that lines the inner bone. Moving on to number 21, the bone cells that is responsible for bone formation are bone formation, what's the schedule for this week? Right now, for now, just Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for AMP2. This is just this week so far. That might change depending on request if I get enough DMs or anything. I know a lot of people are kind of off school right now, so I haven't been going live as much. I've kind of just been tutoring, but if you send me a DM or an email or whatever, we can definitely try to get it. My DC, so sometimes I am in DC. It kind of depends. I kind of travel a little bit everywhere for work. But sometimes I move around quite a bit. But mainly in Virginia is where I move around. It depends on where I am needed, per se. I just moved to Texas from DC. I'm actually visiting Texas in June. First time ever. I have a couple friends from Dallas as well. Couple. Texas here. Oh my gosh. I'll be visiting Texas soon. Dallas? Oh my gosh, yeah. I have some friends from Dallas that I went to college with. Number 21, the answer is B. It is osteoblast. So blast, we build something up. B for build. B blast. So bone formation. Osteoclast is the opposite of that. I think of chew or cleave, meaning a breakdown bone. Number 22, red bone marrow is found in where? Do I do fundamentals as well? Yes, I do. Yes. I'm actually visiting El Paso. If you have any recommendations for places to eat and do. My friend told me that AMP2 is more easier than AMP1. When it comes to the difficulty between AMP2 and AMP1, I feel like it kind of depends on what kind of learner you are. AMP2 is more physiology based, so it has to do with a lot more of understanding. AMP1 is just like a lot of memorization and a lot of new concepts. And it's kind of the foundation for AMP2. So you kind of already have like a glimmer of the foundation. Like a lot of the information is a glimmer of AMP1. But it depends. If you're like a very big like memorizing person, AMP1 is probably going to be your favorite. If you really like understanding things and drawing things out and processes and like that kind of thing, AMP2 is definitely more your style. You'll have the best Mexican food you've ever had. That's what I've heard. Yeah, I've been trying to look up some of the Mexican restaurants there. From when? They can definitely be next week. Jasmine, if you send me an email on like what you'd like to see in foundations, I can definitely do that. Or a DM, either one works. I just passed AMP1 with 8-week class was, oh my gosh, yeah, A&P is definitely rough. I had undergrad anatomy and physiology and I had graduate anatomy and physiology. I did my A&P 1 and A&P 2 in 16 weeks, and I had my graduate anatomy and physiology was 8 weeks, and that was brutal. I had no life. I was pretty much only studying and working. It was interesting, but not fun. I was busy. Oh my god, 5 weeks is crazy. Yes. Oh my gosh, I've tutored people who've done it in 5 weeks. It just seems miserable. Yeah, med terminology is definitely like very helpful. I had medical terminology while I was taking A&P 1, and it made a phenomenal difference. They should be teaching medical terminology like in high school, honestly. It would help out a lot. Number 22, red bone marrow is found in C. It is the spongy bone. It's in the trabeculae of flat bones and the ends of long bones. So this is trabeculae of our flat bones and the ends of long. Number 23, which bone is part of the appendicular skeleton? In my school, they do teach medical terminology. It's perfect. It's incredible. Mine was 10 weeks. Tests every week. Yeah. No, in my terminology, it's perfect. It's incredible. Mine was 10 weeks. Tests every week. Yeah. No, in my graduate class, I had an exam, 2 papers, and 2 presentations every week. It was brutal. No, in my graduate class, I had an exam, 2 papers, and 2 presentations every week. It was brutal, but interesting material. I hear everyone struggles in med-surg. They're screaming. I think, yeah, med-surg is the... I hear everyone struggles in med-surg. They're screaming. I think, yeah, med-surg is the class where everything is very everything kind of connects. Which body system is my least favorite to teach? Probably the respiratory system. I hate the respiratory system. I think just trying to calculate all the volumes of air. And my graduate anatomy, that lab was just brutal. And trying to do that, it was such a pain. I was there for hours, that lab. I was just, everything else, though, I really enjoy. There's nothing else that really bothers me. It's just that. It's just it's not that hard. It's just it's just a pain to that stuff to learn about. C, occipital. So this is the base of our skull. This is where our spinal cord exits. Our parietal, those are the sides of our skull. The temporal is the ear region, and the frontal is the forehead. Again, our foramen magnum is where the spinal cord exits the skull, and that is going to occur at the occipital bone. Number 25. The function of osteoclast is to what? The function of osteoclast is to what? What's everyone else's least favorite anatomy and physiology system? Does anyone else have a least favorite one to go through, or that they went through? They just the other thing, I'm not sure if it's just because of the timing of it, but the reproductive system was sort of annoying, and I don't know if it's just because that was the end of there was always at the end of the semester for both, and I took reproductive. It was late April. The weather was nice. I wanted to go outside. I didn't want to study, and then in my graduate, it was after 8 weeks, I was just so exhausted. It was my last week, I had both an exam for reproductive system and urinary system and a final exam. And it was just... Yeah, it's interesting. It's just, I don't know if it's just the timing, so I don't say that's my least favorite. I think it just has the ill fortune of the timing of it, but the respiratory was mine. Cardiovascular and endocrine are definitely hard ones. I actually enjoyed those, though. I loved drawing everything out for those systems. But C, it is to resorb bone matrix. So resorbing bone matrix typically means to break down bone, which is going to release our calcium into our blood. Forming cartilage, that's chondrocytes. Maintaining bone tissue, that would be osteocytes. So when we're talking about maintaining it, that is the responsibility of an osteocyte. Transporting calcium, that's just done by the blood. It's just through the mechanisms in the cardiovascular system that pump blood. And then bone formation, again, is osteoblast. Number 26, the vertebral column contains how many cervical vertebrae? Mine is disease finished last with a B because I struggled on this question. Oh my goodness, yeah. I thought I hated cardiovascular system until I understood it. Yeah, no, definitely. I loved it, and I took an undergrad my junior year. I had a cardiovascular physiology class. That was hard. Oh my god. That was brutal. That was like a class where like everybody was just put through the ringer. But it's important. Surely is important. But the answer is B. It is 7. So we have our cervical spine has 7 vertebrae. So we have our C1 through C7. Our 12 is going to be our thoracic. 5 is going to be lumbar. 8, this is not any standard one. 27, the basic contractile unit of a muscle fiber is the basic contractile fiber. Contractile unit of a muscle fiber is what? Is what? And if you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. But welcome. My name is Ollie. I have a master's in molecular medicine, and I've been tutoring A&P for about 5 years now, and we're going through some A&P 1 for the HESI and TEAS exam. I do post this to YouTube afterwards. That's linked in my bio. This is my YouTube name. And then I also have all my notes from when I was in anatomy and physiology, and I have some practice tests as well. Those are also linked in my bio. But that's my YouTube. This is where you can find the replay. If you're joining a little late or you have to leave a little early, I post every single one. And then next week we'll be live again Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for A&P 2. Again, May 26th, we will be going live every day. Time to be determined, but every day we'll be going live. Number 27, the basic contractile unit of a muscle fiber is the sarcomere. Sarcomeres are those repeating units in myofibrils that are responsible for muscle contraction. The myofibril is a bundle of sarcomeres. The sarcolemma is the muscle cell membrane. And actin is one of the filaments inside the sarcolemma. Or I'm sorry, the sarcomere. Number 28. Which ion is required for muscle contraction? Specifically, muscle contraction. Fantastic. It is C. It is calcium. Awesome. So remember, calcium binds to troponin. That is going to remove tropomyosin, which is on actin active sites. So myosin heads can attach. So the calcium binding to troponin enables the actin to myosin interaction. Sodium is important for the action potential. So this is important. This is required for an action potential, But just because we have an action potential doesn't mean we have a muscle contraction. Before the muscle contraction to occur, we have to have calcium. Potassium is going to be for the repolarization. So the sodium was for depolarization. And then potassium is repolarization. Chloride, not involved in a muscle contraction, but this is more so for hyperpolarization, which contributes to the negativity. Let's move on to number 29. Which muscle type is involuntary and non-striated, meaning it's not banded? And welcome everybody that just joined. Welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome if you're new. If you're new, my name is Ollie. I have a master's in molecular medicine, and I do go live pretty frequently, covering A&P topics that you guys request. Next week, May 26th, we will be live every single day. This week will be Wednesday at 1 p.m. for A&P 2. Today we're doing A&P 1, and we're on number 29, which asks which muscle type is involuntary and non-striated. And then you can also find the recordings of these live streams on YouTube. It's linked in my bio if you're joining a little late, or if you can't stay for the whole time. But 29, which muscle type is involuntary and non-striated? This is going to be our smooth. This is going to be found in like ducts, so like our internal organs. Skeletal is voluntary and striated. Cardiac is involuntary and striated. 30, the neurotransmitter released at the neuromuscular junction would be which neurotransmitter? Aren't sodium potassium used for the repose potential? Does that mean like, so sodium potassium are like, they're involved in like maintaining, is it rest? I mean, let's say resting, like resting potential. Resting potential is like the, basically it's like around negative 70 in neurons. But how they contribute is through that sodium-potassium ATPase pump, where, like, 3 sodium out, 2 sodium in. You have your potassium leak channels, sodium leak channels. But 30, the answer is D, it is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine gets released by the motor neuron that stimulates the muscle fibers. Dopamine is in the CNS. Serotonin is our like mood related one. Norepinephrine is our sympathetic nervous system. 31, muscle fatigue occurs due to muscle fatigue occurs due to fantastic. It is the buildup of lactic acid. So it's anaerobic respiration. That's going to build up. Lactic acid will build up in anaerobic respiration. This causes fatigue. Excess ATP. Fatigue results from when you deplete ATP, not excess. Increased oxygen supply. Oxygen would relieve fatigue. Increased calcium storage would not have any impact on that. 32. What surrounds each individual muscle fiber? Excuse me. I had a little cough. So each individual muscle fiber. So think of individual muscle fiber. The answer is going to be C, the endomysium. So the endomysium wraps a muscle fiber. The epimysium surrounds the entire muscle. Paramecium is going to surround our bundles. And the sarcomere is the contractile unit. Number 33, which filament is thin and anchored to the Z-line? Which filament is thin and anchored to the Z-line? The answer is B. It is actin. So actin is our thin filament that attaches to the Z-line, and it slides during contraction. Myosin is the thick filament. Tropomyosin regulates actin. It's not the thing itself. Troponin is what calcium binds to and moves tropomyosin. So 34, what is the function of the sarcoplasmic reticulum? Sarcoplasmic reticulum. How I always remembered thick versus thin is I always thought it was like, my she's so thick it's a sin, and then acting like they thick but they really ain't is how I always remembered that, very in a silly way. Acting sounds like thin. But yeah, myosin for thick, I always, my she's so thick it's a sin, and then acting like they thick but they really ain't is how I always remembered it. And, it's, sometimes, not the most appropriate thing. But whatever helps you remember is what helps you remember. I see a lot of laughing and crying emojis. I hope that's a good reaction. But I never forget that, though. I'll never forget it. But 34, the sarcoplasmic reticulum functions to store calcium. So this stores and releases calcium for muscle contraction, generating ATP. That's mitochondria. Neurons transmit nerve impulses, and transporting oxygen is by hemoglobin and myoglobin in the muscles. 35. Which joint allows for the greatest range of motion, or ROM? Yeah, I can remember that one. Now I will never forget. Thank you. Awesome. The silliest ways are the ones that stick. It really is. I'll have to make a video on that then. I've been hesitant to make a video on how I remember that, but if people think that's how it's going to help other people remember it, then I definitely will. Oh, you just joined? So the question beforehand was which filament is thin, and you have to know, and typically you have to do, which one is thin versus which one is thick. And how I remember it is, so myosin and actin. So myosin, remembering that it was thick, my little way of remembering was, my she's so thick, it's a sin. And actin was acting like they thick, but they really ain't, is how I remembered that actin was thin and myosin was thick. Please make a video. Well, thank you for the rose. I definitely will then. Oh my god, that's perfect. I'm glad. Oh my god, just got in. Yeah, that's a great way to enter the live stream if you just joined. The answer to 35 is C. It is ball and socket. That's found in your shoulder, like your hip. Allows for a full range of motion. And then we have hinge. This is only for flexion and extension. Saddle is pretty much limited to just the thumb. And the pivot is for rotational movement. Alrighty, moving on. Number 36, which type of joint is found between the vertebrae? So I think we want to allow some movement, but if we're talking about the vertebrae, we don't want our back to we don't want to hit the scorpion pose when you're getting folded like a lawn. You don't want to fold like a lawn chair, so it's very limited movement. 36, the answer is B. It is cartilaginous. Cartilaginous. So intervertebral discs are cartilaginous. Synovial is a freely movable joint, so this is the reason you can't bend over backwards crazy and move and twist around 4 times. Fibrous are immobile joints, meaning you would not be able to move your back at all. That's like what's in your skull. Hinge, again, that's what our elbows and knees would be. 37. The knee is an example of what type of joint? We just went over that one. It is our hinge joint. Hinge joints are going to be our flexion and our extension. 38. What is the function of synovial fluid? What is the function of synovial fluid? Thank you for all the likes again, guys. I appreciate it. We just hit 10,000 likes on the live today. That's incredible. I appreciate you guys. That's so awesome. But I appreciate everything. I appreciate all the follows, all the sharing, all the likes, all of the comments, participation and whatnot, all the gifts. I really appreciate it all. It really makes my day. I love doing these live streams. They're so fun. The answer to 38 is C. It is to lubricate the joint. The function, or the purpose, I should say, is to reduce friction and increase cushioning in synovial joints. So cushion synovial joints, which is why it's called synovial fluid. 39, ligaments connect. Ligaments connect. We kind of went over this at the beginning of the live stream. So my bones be sounding like fireworks. I want to see my joints go snap, crackle, pop. The answer is B. It is bone to bone. So ligaments connect bone to bone. Muscle to bone is through tendons. Muscle to muscles, they're not connected that way. There's one that could be considered, and that's aponeurosis. Aponeurosis. It's kind of like at the top of your head. If you look that up on an anatomy image, kind of like the white spot. Tendon to tendon is not a function. I just discovered this, and I'm always coming back. Awesome. This is really motivating. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it's motivating, Bald Girl. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. And thanks for the follows, everybody. I appreciate it as well. Number 40, what is a freely movable joint? What is a freely movable joint? We actually also just hit 70,000 followers here on TikTok as well, which is crazy. I would have never imagined getting up there, but I appreciate it. I really do. It makes my day. It's like I almost cry every time I hit a new milestone. But 40 is D, diatherosis. These are also known as synovial joints. Sutures are immovable. Syndesmosis, this is, they're slightly movable. So these are like our fibrous, and syntherosis is our, these are our sutures, so these are immovable. All right. 41, what is the part of the neuron that receives the incoming signal? So if we quickly draw our neuron, again, we receive our signal here, we integrate it here, and then we send it here, transmit it through there. Congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. The answer is C, it is the dendrite. So our dendrite is going to receive it. Our soma, or our cell body, integrates it. Our axon transmits it to another neuron, speeding up the impulse with the myelin sheath, and then at the axon terminal, here is where it gets transmitted. Number 42, the brain and spinal cord make up the what? The brain and spinal cord make up the what? Perfect. It is B. It is the central nervous system, or the CNS. The peripheral nervous system is outside of the CNS. The autonomic nervous system is part of the peripheral nervous system, and so is the somatic. So these are both part of the peripheral nervous system. Autonomic meaning like automatic functions, like your breathing, your heart rate. Somatic meaning body, so voluntary movements. 43, which lobe of the brain is responsible for decision-making and reasoning? What level of education is this for? This is for kind of at the HESI and TEAS level review. So mostly like, probably like undergradish level. Oh, it wants me to do my weird thing where it wants me to see that I'm still active. Perfect. Okay, sorry, I just had to fix that. I had to prove that I was active during the live stream. But 43 is D. It is the frontal lobe. It's the frontal. So the frontal lobe is for our decision-making and our reasoning. Parietal is for, it's going to process our sensory input. Temporal is going to be for hearing and memory. Occipital is our vision. Number 44, the gap between neurons is called a what? The gap between neurons is called the what? Perfect, it's B as a synapse. So this is the space where neurotransmitters cross to the next neuron. Receptors, that's like a protein. That's most on like the postsynaptic membrane. Axon terminal is the end of the sending neuron. So the synapse between the axon terminal and the dendrite that we talked about earlier, where we see it, and then the node that's the node of Ranvier. That's the gap in the myelin sheath. 45. Which part of the brain regulates heart rate and breathing? Heart rate and breathing. It's going to be our medulla oblongata. So the medulla oblongata is going to control our vital functions. The cerebellum, this is going to be the coordination of our movement and our balance. Our thalamus is like our sensory relay station. The hypothalamus is going to regulate hormones and our temperature. So really a lot of homeostasis functioning. Number 46, myelin is produced by... 46, myelin is produced by what? It's going to be the Schwann cells, and this specifically is in the peripheral nervous system. Oligodendrocytes are, this is going to be our central nervous system, is where the myelin is produced. Astrocytes are going to support neurons formed by the blood-brain barrier. Microglia are the immune cells. Ependymal, these are going to produce our cerebrospinal fluid. 47, which nervous system controls voluntary movements? Voluntary. It's going to be D, somatic. Somatic. So that's the somatic system controls skeletal muscle. Think of somatic means body. So 48. What type of neuron carries impulses from the central nervous system to the muscles? I don't have a download for this one right now. It's just going to be available on YouTube afterwards. And my YouTube is linked in my TikTok bio. Or if you want to look me up, it's just my name. It's Ollie Hertzeg. This is my YouTube where you can go back. I should upload. It'll be uploaded later tonight or tomorrow morning. And you can go back at your own pace. If it gets posted on my website for other practice tests, I'll let you know. But my website has other practice tests, and it has all my notes from A&P. That is also linked in my bio. But number 48, what type of neuron carries impulses from the CNS to the muscles? That is a motor neuron. Particularly we have the efferent neurons that are going to stimulate muscle. Sensory neurons, or afferent, are going to take it to the central nervous system. Interneuron is found in the central nervous system only. Bipolar, that's mostly in like special senses, like the retina. Moving on to number 49, last two questions here. Which ion enters the neuron during the action potential? Let's just say it enters. So we are depolarizing. Which is going to be C, is going to be sodium. So sodium enters, depolarizing the neuron. A, potassium leaves the cell during repolarization. Chloride is an inhibitory ion. Calcium is important at the synapse, but not during the action potential. And then 50, our last question here, everybody. The protective membranes that cover the brain and the spinal cord are called what? What are they called? Bipolar neurons, though, those aren't really something that you typically need to know. The answer is B, it is meninges. So we have the dura mater, the arachnoid, and the pia mater. Ganglia is a cluster of neurons. The ventricles, those are the fluid-filled spaces in the brain, and then the plexuses, that's a network of spinal nerves. Check. Okay. I have my test tomorrow. Oh my god. Good luck on your test, Diamonds. You got this. So that was it for today. Just 50 questions here. Again, we will be live again Wednesday for A&P 2 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The subarachnoid space is below the arachnoid. And then starting May 26th, we'll be going live every day covering anatomy and physiology. Topics that you guys request. Fridays will be pharmacology. Mondays are typically AMP1, Tuesdays AMP2. The rest of the week will be by request. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. Again, my YouTube is here. It's linked in my bio as well. This is where the replay will be. I have practice tests and notes on my website on MedZeg. B-Days on Wednesday. Oh my gosh. Well, happy early birthday, Rosen. I hope you have a fun birthday. If you have any quick questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you guys. See you then. See you guys then. See you guys in a later live. I appreciate it. I'll stick around for any quick questions. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, we'll be live again on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, that might be it for this week. I may go live other days if it is requested. If there's enough requests for other live streams, I will. But for now, starting next week, we'll be going live again every day. It's kind of just in time for the summer semester coming up. That's kind of when everyone's starting. A lot of people, I know some people are still in classes and whatnot, but most people are kind of on a break. So that's kind of why there hasn't been as many live streams lately. But I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. I love doing these live streams with you. But any just quick questions here before I get going? Is anything quick? Bye. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. But if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to get going. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. And again, this will be on YouTube either later tonight or tomorrow. All right, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you guys.